You have 3 million followers on Instagram. You would say the number one sales expert, right?
Yes.
And you believe that, of course.
No, I don't believe it. It's just the truth at this point. In the next 30 days, just go watch me and my activity and then go watch the other person and see who serves more and does more inside of the community and see who gets more attention too. So what do you think about this one? He's like, he looks at me and he said, honestly, man, the quality, it's not good. And he's like, it's priced more. I said, you're good, bro. And then he shows me this. He's like, this is cheaper and the quality's better. The brain, the psychology of that was, if he leans towards this one, I'm gonna sell him it now. When I bought my first Lamborghini, I was 24 years old. A guy comes up to me. He's like, what's up, man? What are you looking for today? I'm like, I'm looking for a white Lamborghini Huracan. What the heck does a young 18-year-old kid like yourself do to fucking afford a Lamborghini? He's like, come check out this car, man. He's like, don't tint out the freaking windows. He's like, they're already small enough, right? You're young, you're good looking, you're handsome. You're my age, I tint out the windows. But on your way to dinner, he's like, you want ladies on your way to dinner to look at you, approach you, and see your freaking pretty face driving down that freaking road. Boom, 2.5 seconds, bro. I'm writing the bill of sale. I walk out there with a freaking Lamborghini. He doesn't sell me the features, he sells me the feeling. You sell the fucking dream.
Okay, what's your top 3 sales advice?
So number 1, number 2, number 3. If you want to get really good at sales and you're just new to listening to this.
Do you think that sales is the most important trait for a man to have?
Yeah, for sure. 150%.
Welcome back to the show and thank you for returning back to the channel, the podcast where we talk about self-improvement, happiness, and business. Today, guys, we're joined by Daniel G. Daniel, thank you for being in the house, brother.
Having me. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man.
Yes.
Honestly, I've seen you everywhere. I can't scroll past few videos without seeing you. At least that means my For You page is business only. Business, not booty.
Yes, yeah.
And alhamdulillah, I've seen so many videos and so many of them have inspired me in my personal journey. So what I'm hoping with this video is that hopefully some of your advice that you're going to give us today, talking a bit about your story, what you've learned from it, I want to extract as much sales advice as I can from you in this video.
Yeah.
And hopefully this can help my audience. Selling is number one, as you know. First, before we start, if you can give a quick introduction of yourself.
Sure.
I know some facts about you, which is that you're the founder of Canada's #1 sales agency.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal. You've had 600 events, shit ton of events.
Yes.
In every single continent, you've trained 1 million salespeople.
Yeah.
1 million salespeople.
Probably more than now.
Yeah. I mean, you have 3 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So those also, like, that's a crazy amount of people to follow you. So yeah, could you give us a quick intro about yourself?
Yeah, man. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. Okay, parents, I have Italian parents and heritage, but and my last name is Guaragna. We just put G because Guaragna is hard to pronounce, right? Guaragna. So G was just the easy branding move. But listen, I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada. My parents, I always say the story where my parents split up when I was young and they divorced. So me, I was always put in a position where how do I make my own money? Just like you talking about, like, you going out there to hustle at 13. Mine was the exact same hustle. At 13 years old, when my parents split up, I got my first door-to-door sales job. There was a sign in my high school said, if you want to make $500,000 to $1,000 in commissions, $500 to $1,000 in commissions, sign up to this sign.
Wow.
And my friends were like walking by it, and I go up to the guy and said, dude, does commissions mean money?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, sign me up. And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'll do whatever. I didn't even know what sales was at that time, right?
Yeah. But you were extroverted.
Yeah, you could say I was extroverted. I had a lot of energy, right? I had energy to play sports, like 4 or 5 sports a day. So I had energy. I wasn't the best talker, but I had energy.
Yeah.
So, I got into sales, my first door-to-door sales job at 13. And the first weekend, bro, I made $800 on the weekend knocking on doors.
Wow, what are you selling?
I was selling, it was a lawn service. In Canada, we have bad winters. We have snow. Okay. So this service would poke holes in people's grass. So it would allow the water to make the grass breathe. So it'd break up the bad lawns during the winters. So you get green, healthy grass. I know the whole pitch till today. But so I was selling that service for about 5 years. The first week when I made $800 Canadian in commissions, let's say like a couple thousand dirhams in commissions, my brain was messed because my whole life, I've been labeled ADD, ADHD, crazy guy. Hey, sit down, sit in your seat. You're not going to go to a good college. You're not going to get a good school, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't go to a good college, you're not going to make good money. So, and then I'm like, wait, I've already debunked this myth. Like, I've already made good money in the first weekend. Why the heck do I have to sit down and go to college and school? So I said everything that I was taught when I was young was a lie. Yeah. So I stayed in sales, man. I stayed in sales for 5 years. I went to college and university for about 4 months, dropped out, went right back into sales. I had a high-paying B2B sales job, business-to-business sales job for about 4 or 5 years. I noticed it's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I'm really shorting the story right now. So
Yeah.
I created a sales agency because I was training these high schools and colleges on how to become salespeople. While I was in my sales job, I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars in my sales job when I was like 19 to 24.
Wow.
And I'm like, shit, if I can do this, imagine all these kids in colleges and high schools. Let me just go train them for free in sales. Let me go to business classes and let me be a guest speaker. While I was doing my sales job. And you know, I noticed you could just see like the interest from people. Bro, that was amazing. People would message me on Instagram. I only had a couple thousand followers at the time. Hey man, you changed my life. I went to get a sales job in university. So I said, okay, there's a need for this sales training. And then I opened up a sales agency. So what I did was courses and things online just started blowing up. Like all these courses, like Forex courses, relationship courses, Ty Lopez. So I seen these courses blowing up. And I seen these salespeople that wanted sales jobs. So I said, why won't I just connect salespeople with these courses? This was before like high ticket sales agency existed.
Closers.
Yeah. This was before the whole close model. We were the very first one. Wow. There was another gentleman out there. His name was Dan Locke, right?
Dan Locke.
Dan Locke.
Like
so we were the
guy.
yeah. So we were the only two people that really train and outsource closers.
Yeah.
I think we were the first business model to outsource closers.
Yeah.
And I actually had an office. Like most people had it virtually, like having these closers. We brought all the closers in office.
Nice.
So we've created a wicked ass culture, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, that's what we did. We started up a sales agency. And, you know, that's my main business. And I was just always great at training people once I was in sales. So, you know, training second nature to me, like doing all these events on the road, like fast forward now, you know, in the last 4.5 to 5 years, I've trained millions of salespeople around the world. I've been everywhere around the world, like India, Australia, Lebanon, Jordan, every single place you can imagine I've trained in, right? And that's the way in today's day and age, man, you have to build in my space, in the coaching space. There's so many coaches. So what differentiates me between a lot of coaches is that like I get up there and I go create the relationships in person. I'm real. Like I'm with the people 24/7. I bust my ass off. Yes, I can do it from home and be on Instagram lives and do Zoom calls, but that's not really what builds a relationship. So my whole thing was get out there in person, and your social media is only as good as your offline game. Meaning like people only trust you when you're with other people.
True.
Now, because everything's so saturated, I want to see that person's with other people.
Yeah.
So it's if a coach, I want to see that coach is with thousands of other people. Now that coach is validated online. So your content is better. Your online content is better when you're with people offline.
Yeah.
When you're with Andrew offline and stuff, oh, he's validated. Okay. You can't just always be behind the scenes. You have to collaborate and be with people, right? So, yeah.
True. Nice. That was very well put.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's how you started. I wanted to ask you actually, when you started the first sales job, you were making $100,000. Was that like a month or like a year? Or like
No, definitely not $100,000 a month. I was making six figures. Well, first of all, my first sales job from 14 to 18, I was not making six figures, but I was making about $1,000 every weekend.
Wow.
So that's like $40,000 to $50,000 a year.
Same service, the lawn thingy?
Yeah, lawn service, yeah.
Okay, nice.
But I was only working it for 4 to 6 months because I'd have to go to school, right? So it was only like it was a summer service because in Canada we only have like 6 months, decent weather. So yeah, I just went back. When I dropped out of university, I was in university. You know, a lot of people, maybe young people watching, like they freaking drop out because like, oh, you know, I think I'm passionate about this thing. I was just curious about sales. Like I followed my curiosity. I didn't follow my passion, because if I followed my passion, I would have been in soccer. I would have been in DJing. Like it wasn't really my passion. I tell people, follow your curiosity. When you're curious about something, you hunt for the answer. So I was just curious about sales. I said, man, what if I just went all in the sales job? Like what would it look like? Because I was already doing it for 6 months and making good money.
I always feel like what I tell people, and again, I could be very wrong, what I always say is like, don't follow your passion. Follow the money. And with the money you get, do your passion.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Spend like how much, like use the money, like sell your time for money, then use your money to buy back the time, and then you have so much time you can play football all day. Because,
Correct.
Even for me, soccer for sure. If I was not for a business, I would try to be a soccer player, professional soccer player, and fail miserably.
Yeah.
At such a young age. All right, let's talk specifically about sales then. Do you think that sales is the most important trait for a man to have?
For a man to have?
Like let's say someone who wants to make money, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. 150%. Sales, because at the end of the day, your product is only as good as people have your product inside of their head. So, I mean, you can have the best idea or product in the world, but if people aren't using it, your product is no good. And customers will tell you, hey, we like this and we don't like that. So, like, you need a lot of customers telling you things, and the only way that comes from is through influence. And listen, I don't think it's just for money. I think it's just life.
Yeah.
You know, like the people that I train, they get better in life in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't just train young kids. Like the young kids, they'll get better inside of their relationships. The young kids, they'll get better at talking with women. You know, like build up their communication, etc. And even in relationships, older people inside of relationships, they learn how to communicate with their kids. They learn to communicate with their significant other. So of course, I think sales is such an important skill. And you know, it's not talked about at a young age, and you're deemed to be like sales is a bad thing.
Yeah.
My whole thing is I'm like an advocate for sales. You know, like I yell off mountaintops saying sales is the best. That's why you see me shouting on Instagram, be like, there's no better fucking profession in the world than sales. Like nothing beats sales, especially if you like working hard. It's the most rewarding profession, right? So yeah, I think it's great.
Do you prefer like more cold calls or like you're more of like a door-to-door person?
I think both. Like I think anything where it's like, you know, I think everybody's baby now because there's leads coming in. But before it was knocking on doors, making a phone call. Both of those are both difficult sales. Making a cold call and knocking on doors, both difficult sales, right?
Yeah. Did you do the like door-to-door Christian stuff? Apparently those people who do those mercenaries, what are they called?
Jehovah Witness?
Yeah, I think these people turn out to be like the best salesmen.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Because they go around door-to-door and they just build up that confidence of getting rejected.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's so like, you know, people are so baby these days. You know, if somebody were to just be hardworking door to door now, they would stand out through a lot of people because nobody does it a lot anymore.
Yeah, true.
Everybody's doing it on social media now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the easier things get, the lazier people and the weaker people get. The easier things get, right?
Yeah.
So
what's the most important thing you need to be? The most important trait you need to have to be a good salesman?
I would say, well, the first thing before anything is conviction in whatever you're selling, not passion. There's a big difference. So like you have to know that whatever you're selling is the best. And you have to believe that. Like conviction and belief will always outsell sales strategies. And I'm the sales trainer shooting myself in the foot right now. Like the best salespeople in the world, yes, they have a little bit of both, but you have to know, like, if I'm selling phones and I'm selling these phones, there's no better other phones than this phone. And I have to have that complete belief about it. Those people, 9 times out of 10, sell the person that is just good at sales. Like it's not passion, it's belief inside of your product. Like how much belief and how much do you know about your product that there's only that person?
Okay, the question is, if you don't think that your product is the best, should you change product or should you just force yourself to believe that it's the best?
Good question. I think you have to understand your competitive advantages about your product. And if you feel that your product is unethical and it actually doesn't work, it's time to switch your product. 150%. Like if there's only so long that you could sell it for, right? Like in sales, the number one thing is energy. Yeah. So you got to be fired up. You got to be excited. So there's only so long you can fake the funk for, right? So if the product does bad, it's unethical. I think you should switch, right?
It's just not as good as another product out there, which is a bit cheaper. It's a bit more expensive and less good than something that's already out there.
It's more expensive and less good?
Yes.
Yeah, it's time to change your product.
Change?
Yeah, it's 150%. I think if you have a very expensive product, but it is better, you stay there, right? You just build value because price doesn't matter. But yes, I think, you know, having conviction and belief in your product is next to none the most important thing. Like, listen, dude, I am my own product. I'm Daniel G. We're our own product, okay? At the end of the day, I'm going to give it to you. At the end of the day, this is my complete belief system. There's nobody in the world that will ever sit down and talk sales better than myself. If you were to say, Daniel, I'm going to talk to you about sales for 24 hours, I'm good. Let's eat, let's grab some food, and let's talk sales for 24 hours. You will not trump me on one question. You ask me any single objection, I have it covered. There's no better sales trainer in the fucking world than myself. That's my conviction and my belief. Now, and I say that 100% certainty and knowing that too as well. And I talk my shit in Instagram and sure, if somebody wants to call me out, by the time they call me out, I'm on an airplane 30,000 feet high going to train somebody in India or going to train a team in India if you start talking shit. So that I back it up with my work ethic. But this is my conviction and my belief. You need that as a salesperson, right? Now, at the same time, if somebody were to say, yeah, but my skill sets, which is my strategy, because I said you need both. You need conviction, which is your confidence, but you also need your skill sets to back it up.
Skills,
You need your sales skills. Then if somebody comes to talk shit, I'd say, okay, let's go on a stage together and let's go train. Because your skill sets back it up. Let's go on a podcast together. Let's go answer these guys. Let's go on a live stream together. Boom, let's go on a... So I think it's, you let your skill sets drive the car and your conviction ride shotgun and your ego ride shotgun. Like, you know what I mean? Let your skill set drive the car. My ego and my conviction's right here. I need it. It protects me. My conviction and your, because everybody says, oh, etch out your ego. Ego actually protects you. You need it.
Okay.
And
that's
like,
interesting.
Yes, you need your ego. It keeps you safe too as well. Of course, there's a lot of it that you got to etch out. And when everybody says stay humble, well, staying humble first of all, what it actually means is like think less of yourself. So when somebody says stay humble, what I like to say is like don't be rude to individuals.
Yeah.
Like don't be rude. Don't lose your belief and don't lose your conviction.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be rude to have conviction and belief. So to me, I always let my skill set drive the car. That's the number one thing. Like I will talk so much shit, but I will study and train so much that I will make sure that I'm the best. And I think people have to fight for that in business. They don't have to fight for money. They just have to fight for being the best. So many people fight for money and they never get money.
Okay, question then.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of sales as well myself. So when I did the influencer marketing, I also used to sell cars. I sold shoes. I've done a lot of selling myself. When do you ever think it's justified to sell using emotion in the sense where like emotional type, not blackmail, but like where you show the person that it's really important to you to sell? Because when I started selling, I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I obviously tried to lean into that.
Emotions.
Yeah. But whereas the point where it's like, I don't want to say begging, but you're basically making the person almost pity you to a certain degree.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So basically, you're kind of trying to like emotionally blackmail them into buying something. Because you're like, look at my situation. Like I'm a young kid trying to hustle, for example. So I want to know if that's ever a good way of selling, or you should always try to be the opposite approach, which is like, listen, man, you don't want it, it's fine. I have, like, you know what
Listen,
I mean?
bro, you're saying this because we were young.
Yeah.
When we started sales.
Yeah.
If you knock on a door and somebody sees a 13-year-old, can you say, ma'am, I'm just trying to save up for college? They'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? They're not giving to you with an expectation.
Yeah.
They're giving it to you because it's you and they feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Is it a way to build a business? 150% no, because you want to build a business with referral business and you want there to be value so they buy from you for a lifetime. So making somebody feel bad for you is never a good strategy. And that's why to answer the better question, it's like, say you were to become a real estate agent or you're to start up a new business. Like, yes, going to your family is great, but I do guarantee you 50% of them buying from you is what you just said, them feeling
Biased.
bad.
It's biased.
Like, yeah, they just want to support you. You don't want to build a fucking business off of support.
True.
Like you don't. And that's the main thing that people do. Like they go to their family first. When they start real estate or they start a business, they go to their friends first. And then you see this quote on Instagram being like, you should support your friend's business and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
So dumb.
Who cares? Yeah. Who the fuck cares if your friend supports you? Your friends have their own problems.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if my friend doesn't, my friends never buy my shit anyhow.
Yeah.
Like, if they do, that's amazing. But I'm not building a business for support. You want to build a business to make millions of dollars.
It's so entitled when people are like, why don't my friends support me? Like,
Yes.
why should they fucking
Who
support
cares?
you? What have you done for them?
Yeah, who cares? Exactly. Like, who cares if you're thinking of support? Elon Musk said something once. He said, if you're looking for support and encouragement, get the fuck out of business. And I love that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for support and encouragement, sales and business is not right for you. The best way to build a fucking business is forget your warm market, forget your family and friends. That's some bitch ass thing. Oh, baby, just go to the cold market, sell millions and millions of strangers, add so much freaking value to the cold marketplace that one day the warm marketplace, your family and friends say, dude, what are you up to? And they buy from you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's business. I never want to build a business off of people feeling fucking bad for me. I don't give a shit if my friends support me. I want to build a business off of value.
Yeah.
And I want to sell products off of value where people need it. And when people need it, if my friends need it, then they buy from me. You don't build it off of pittiness. And that's what people want. They want support in the beginning
What if
stages.
you're selling something that's not, like, you're talking about things that people need? What
Yes.
if they don't need it? Like, it's just a luxury.
In what case?
For example,
Like a
fancy
Ferrari?
car, or let's say a designer item. It's definitely not a need. You know what I mean? It's just like a luxury.
No, but you're still, at the same time, you're still providing some sort of perceived value for that
course,
individual.
of course, yeah.
So let's just talk about something like, even if you were to go buy, what are you wearing, a Patek?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to wear a watch, okay,
helps you with
it's a
connections.
luxury. It's a luxury item for you. Of course, it's a luxury item. We buy things for luxury items, but you have a different perception of value than my mother that needs a Patek Philippe. Maybe you guys have the same bank account, which sure you don't. Maybe you have more, but I'm just saying you perceive that watch a value more than my mother.
Yeah.
So it's still some sort of value. I still got to sell you some sort of perceived value than my mother or the other cases. So yes, I think you're always selling some sort of value. Now, the question is from emotions, you always want to sell the dream to people.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think that's a bad thing. So to answer that question, when you're like, yo, should you sell? I don't know if you ever heard me say this, but I'm like, you always should sell the dream.
Yeah.
Like the dream is the emotions of a car,
You
of a
paint the
house.
picture in their head.
Yeah, you sell the dream. You don't sell the freaking car.
Yeah.
You sell what the car is going to do for you. Like one day.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like, this guy once, when I bought my first Lamborghini, I was 24 years old. And the guy, when I walked in, he couldn't sell it to me. Like, I walked in the dealership.
Ready to buy.
Ready, able, and willing. Like all the qualifications. I walk in the freaking dealership and I put on a suit because I'm like, you know what? They might not even trust me and they might not even show me the car. You know how it goes. I walk in the dealership. The guy's like, do you have your passport and stuff? I'm like, dude, I just want to buy this car. Can you just show it to me? I'm ready. I was sitting down in my office. Then he walks me inside of the car. And what do you think he does? He's showing me everything about the freaking car. Hey, bro, this is where the windows go down. I don't give a shit about the window. Just show me how fast, how cool. Some way, somehow, he didn't sell me the car, right?
So
I walk away. I didn't end up buying the car. He was so freaking bad at showing me the features and not telling me the feelings of the car. I'm sitting in my office for a week. And then I'm telling my sales guys, I'm like, dude, I want this freaking car, right? I don't even give a shit. I don't even know what's in the engine. I just want the Lamborghini. I'm like, I'm just going to go back and go buy it, right? I walk back in. The guy ignores me. This time I walk in just normally how I dress with pants and a hoodie or shorts and a hoodie, right? I walk in. A guy comes up to me. He's like, what's up, man? What are you looking for today? I'm like, I'm looking for a white Lamborghini Huracan, right? This was about 6 years ago. And he's like, man. He's like, what the heck? And you can already see the relationship already shifted from the first guy. He's like, what the heck does a young 18-year-old kid like yourself do to fucking afford a Lamborghini? I'm like, well, dude, I'm 24, first of all, right? He's already building rapport in the beginning. I'm like, I'm 24, first of all, and this is what I do, XYZ. He's like, man, you hiring? He's like, shit, let me know if you're hiring. So he's already building me up. He's stroking my ego. He's like, come check out this car, man. He's like, dude, first step, and here's the freaking polarizing difference about selling the dream. He said, first step about this car, he's like, you see the windows? Do me a favor, don't black them out. He's like, don't tint them. And I'm like, what do you mean?
You want people to see them.
Yeah, he's like, don't tint out the freaking windows. He's like, they're already small enough, right? He's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 24. He's like, you're young, you're good looking, you're handsome. If you were my age, I tint out the windows. But here's the deal. You single? You a bachelor? I'm like, yes. He's like, great. On your way to dinner, he's like, you want ladies on your way to dinner to look at you, approach you, and see your freaking pretty face driving down that freaking road. He's like, everybody's going to come up to you when they see a 24-year-old kid driving that car. They're going to be freaking following you, asking you what you do for a living. The moment you roll down those windows, boom, everybody's going to come up to you, take selfies with you. So he's like, make sure you don't freaking tint these windows. You got that? Yeah. Boom. 2.5 seconds, bro. I'm writing the bill of sale. I walk out there with a freaking Lamborghini. He doesn't sell me the features. He sells me the feeling. You sell the fucking dream. That's sales. You sell the dream. I'm like, oh shit, it would be cool. Single bachelor. He got the data of me. You get the data of a person and you sell them the freaking dream.
Yeah, but the
right?
smart thing is that he didn't even like the whole Windows tinting thing was just an excuse to talk to sell you the dream.
Yeah, it's just the in.
Yeah,
just the in. And he used it so quickly. You know what I mean?
He didn't even realize about the Windows. Like, you got
I'm like,
distracted
that
by
makes
the whole
sense.
vision.
Makes sense. He just used that as an easy like. And by the way, he already advanced sold me because he already said when you do get it today, don't freaking tint the windows. He already future paced me inside of the sale. Like if there's so many little things that I picked apart, he future paced me. Number one, he said, hey, by the way, when you grab this week, because if he were to say when you grab it this week, don't tint the windows, or when you grab it today, don't tint the windows, he's a smart salesman. Why? Because future pacing means if I future pace him and he doesn't object, that means he's agreeing towards the car. So he was waiting for me to be like, oh, bro, I'm not buying it today. I still need to plan out my finances. I didn't object, so he was advancing the sale a little bit more. Smart. So just smart, just like a little bit of tactic with a little bit of selling the dream. You always got to sell the dream.
Many small tactics.
Yes.
Question then, if, for example, you're selling something to someone, and you already, let's say they say, okay, 100% I want it. But you haven't even shown them, like, let's say 1 or 2 extra features. You just shut up at that point and say, sell it?
Yep.
Don't tell them extra features.
Yeah, because your job is, it's not don't sell. Your job is, okay, what are their buying buttons? Now they told you they're ready, right? So like there's 3 stages of a buyer. You got the buyer that's defensive, that says, I'm just shopping today, I don't want to buy from you. Then you got the buyer that hypes you up. There's 3 buyers. I'm going to take you guys through a masterclass. Buyer is the first one. When you walk in a mall, no, thank you, I'm just shopping. Shoulders up. No, I don't want to buy from you. F you. Yeah. Right? I'm not buying from you. This actually, majority of us buyers are programmed to be like this. The second buyer is a over-embellished buyer, the hype buyer. That buyer basically says, man, I'm ready to get started. Send me over all the paperwork. They hype you up and they ghost you.
Window shopper, like what type of window?
Yes, and they don't want to make people feel bad. It's almost like the person that says, man, I'm ready to get started, and they're not. They hype up the person to not make you feel bad. The third type of buyer is the actual ready buyer. Yeah. I'm ready. And you have to know the difference, right? I'm not going to go into training all 3, but yes, I'm the ready buyer. You sell them and you ask a question before they go make a purchase. You ask them, hey, by the way, is there any other things that you would need before I even get you started? That's the only question you would ask, right? You don't go back to selling things because you might overshoot it and you might, oversell. Yeah. You might oversell the deal. Like you might sell something where hey, by the way, and this is, part of our company. We take vacations every single month. Oh, I don't like vacations, boom, it's over, right?
I get it. But sometimes you just feel like if you do say those extra points, it might like later on, if they were ever about to change their mind, that extra point might have helped them come back. That's my theory sometimes.
Yes, but if somebody's ready,
they're ready.
If somebody's ready, collect, move on.
Okay.
Your job in a sale is to be most efficient and effective as possible, right? Now, if they're ready and you still think they're unqualified, it's the difference. Like if you're still like, wait, maybe this person shouldn't join. Let me ask them some questions, etc. But if they're ready, go for it.
And is it true what they say about sales is like most of the time it's about hearing rather than like selling? Because there's a difference. Sometimes when you talk to a salesman, he just keeps asking questions to try to understand. He's basically trying to pick up points on things he can say to sell it to you. But sometimes it's like, for example, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But basically, sometimes when you talk to a potential client, you start asking a bunch of questions to see if they're qualified.
Yes.
But at some point, you have to decide, okay, let me just stop like asking questions and just start selling. You know what I mean?
Right.
When do you know when it's time?
You know it's time when you've discovered the gap inside of the conversation. This is it. Like when you discovered where they're at, where they want to get it, and why they haven't done it. This is when you start going into sales. So it's like, hey, I'll give you a visual like of where they're at. Like I'm making 1,000. Okay, how much do you want to make? I want to make 10,000 a month. Why the fuck haven't you done it? Because of X, Y, and Z. Now I got your problems, and now I sell.
Yeah.
Like I literally just took somebody through a conversation in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
A conversation is where are you? Where do you want to go? Why the heck haven't you done it? And you can't ask somebody, well, what are your problems? You have to ask somebody, you're at $1,000 a month? Yes, perfect. How much do you want to make? I want to make $10,000 a month. Okay, why the heck haven't you already? Here's you, right? Like you're the salesperson. You're in the conversation. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to move away myself because this is me and my product. You're sitting there with the client. I'm going to be like, forget about me, Janet. Forget about my product. There's so many other freaking sales trainers. There's so many other people that sell health shakes. There's so many other people that sell homes. Why the fuck haven't you got to $10,000 a month? Yeah. Forget about me. I just want to better understand. How long have you been wanting to get to $10,000 a month? Well, for the last year and a half. Well, forget about me. There's so many other sales trainers. Why the fuck haven't you already picked a sales trainer? Well, honestly, and now they're going to start talking about the problems.
Use those to leverage.
I don't trust in sales trainers. I don't know who to pick. I don't know if now's the right time. Now you have all the problems. Now you sell based off their problems, right? And then your question to transition is like, would you like me to show you a way where we've been able to help people like yourself, transition from, that had the same problem that got XYZ results inside of our business? Yes, they lean on you and now you present. So it's so easy. Current situation, future destination, figure out the gap, why they haven't got there already, and then boom, you plug in the problem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So you say you're the number one sales expert, right?
Yes.
And you believe that, of course.
Yes. No, I don't believe it. It's just the truth at this point. Yeah. Well, no, it actually is the truth. At this point, there's greats, and I know them all, and you know them all, and I can name them all right now. There was great sales trainers. If you were to go say, because I don't believe in just talking, if you were to just go say, okay, well, Daniel G said he's the best, and people go watch this right now. Go follow me for 1 week. Just currently, I don't polish old trophies. Like, meaning like, you could say you're the best last month or last year. I don't polish old trophies. Go watch me for this upcoming week. I'm literally just saying in the next 30 days, just go watch me and my activity and then go watch the other person and see who serves more and does more inside of the community and see who gets more attention too.
Nice. Okay, cool.
If you're going to bring up somebody, I don't know if you're going to bring up somebody. So I was validating it. I don't know who's second. I'm like, there's the way I look at it is this. There's nobody inside of the fucking sales space, not remotely close to my left and my right, that will ever pour into the sales audience more than myself. I don't say I don't say I'd make the most. I just say nobody will ever take care of this fucking sales audience better than myself. And if somebody tries, I told you, I'm going to be on a plane the next day to India, going to train 5,000 people in India, and that person's not going to be in India. And then the next day I'm going to be in Australia. The next week I'm going to be in Lebanon. The next week I'm going to be in Jordan. Let's play. Yeah. So somebody could say they're the best. Where? In North America, there's 1 billion people in India, right? I'm just saying, and that's what I like. I like this. Like, I like competitiveness. I like if someone were to say, hey, but no, I am. Okay, let's go play. That's what business is all about. But I play to fucking win. I wish people can like just look at that and be like, oh, he doesn't even care about the money. He just cares to be the best and win. Be the best and win. Money's going to be a byproduct. Maybe my money has to catch up to the guys that you were thinking about inside of your head right now. Maybe my money has to catch up. I'm also 30 years old, right? Yeah. But I just think like, that's the, and I also said a word in there. I said, nobody will ever take care of their audience more than myself. Yeah. I'm okay with completely destroying all of my competition. Why? Because I care about my sales community more than anybody else. So I will talk shit about my competition because I'm like, I'd rather than be in my community, because if you're in my community, you're going to get taken care of more. There's not going to be a better course. Yes. It's okay to wipe out your whole fucking competition based off one thing. I know if people come inside of Daniel G's community, they're going to get taken care of in sales more than anybody. Like, I'm in Dubai and it's 4 a.m. Daniel G's going to be on a live stream And it really is like, throughout this whole week of me being here, I still pour into people, even if it's 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm competitive. I played sports growing up.
Yeah, of course.
Because I feel like if I take my foot off the pedal, that guy is there.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Yeah, of course. You need that competitive edge to push you forward.
Yes.
Or what do you think about Wolf of Wall Street?
I mean, I think it's a good movie line.
No, the guy himself.
Yeah, but that guy, Jordan Belfort. Jordan Belfort is, because it's a movie line, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, that guy would have no name.
Without the movie.
He's a nobody.
True.
At the end of the day, he just scammed people for money.
Yeah.
And people, it was edified in a version that made it seem sales look so cool. He's not a fucking sales trainer. He got his name from a fucking book and a movie. That's it, from scamming people.
Yeah.
And people edified that and made that look good. You can't compare him to great sales trainers in the past. You can't compare him to Brian Tracy, Grant Cardone. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
These guys built their fucking name up. Who played the actor? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio. He's the one who...
He gave Jordan Belfort a name.
Yeah,
Let's just cut the crap. He gave Jordan Belfort a name. And what's real, by the way, bro, lasts. What real lasts? Do you see him doing a bunch of conferences and events?
No.
There's only so much.
Yeah.
You have one little methodology to train on, and 8 players smell this shit. I don't see him active in the field.
Yeah.
It was a good book and a good movie. People laughed at it. It was great. It motivated up salespeople, and if it's done the right way or whatever the case is, and salespeople realize that that's not ethical, but they take the energy and they mix it in with ethics. Cool. I think it's great. Right?
Is it one of your favorite movies?
No, definitely not. No.
What's your favorite movie? It's about sales?
Favorite movie about sales. My favorite movie about sales, probably Glengarry Glen Ross. It's another old sales movie. Glengarry Glen Ross.
What's your favorite movie of all time in general?
My favorite movie of all time, dude. I'm not a big movie guy, but I would have to say my favorite movie of all time. Shit, that's hard. Big.
Big?
You know what that is? No. You have no clue. Okay, Matilda.
Matilda cake one?
Matilda.
It's about the cake?
No, it's not a cake, but
There's this Matilda which has the chocolate cake.
and a fat guy was eating the chocolate cake. Yeah, she had superpowers, Matilda, right?
That's the same one we're talking about?
Yeah, maybe, because there was a guy. The name was Miss Trunchable, and she like made this fat kid eat the cake or whatever, some shit like this. Yeah. So those older movies.
That's like I was expecting you to say like some like,
some cool
The Big Short or like Scarface or like Goodfellas. Or
oh yeah. I mean
some Italian mob movie.
Yeah, I mean good. These are like of course,
I know.
Of course these are. But I'm saying the ones like I was a kid growing up that I can remember. Yeah, like of course, man. Goodfellas, Scarface.
Yeah.
Those are amazing movies. Of course, grew up watching those too.
All right, but honestly, you have a good point that if he was a good salesman, then he would have already sold himself as his own name way before the movie came out. Or
correct.
Till now, you know.
Well, maybe he didn't have a chance. So good. So the movie did edify him. I'm not saying that's bad. The movie edified him. He didn't have a chance. Maybe got out and he blew up right away.
Yeah.
I don't know the time frame.
Yeah, that's true.
But then what I said is what's real lasts.
But even
what's
before
real
that,
lasts,
yeah.
bro. So what's real lasts? So like,
Now,
and at
look
the end
at
of the
now.
day, it's like he doesn't even really do sales training anymore. Does it? So like, did he even care about the sales community? No. So I mean, it's a reflection of the past of what he did.
All right. So what do you think is the best answer to sell me your pen? Sell me this pen then.
Give me something. Does it have to be the pen?
Yeah. Where's the pen?
All right, give me the coffee, bro.
Okay.
Let's do the pen thing. Because I get asked this every single time. Go, hit
I've
me.
seen it in your audience.
Yeah, really?
I think you've done a video where you told someone to sell me this pen in
I
the
don't know.
audience.
It's just always, here, let's do it.
Okay. Here's this coffee. Sell me this coffee.
Well, I mean, first of all, obviously, you know, this coffee is freaking amazing with all the benefits inside it. But first of all, before you even want to drink the coffee, let me ask you a question. Amin, why the heck would you need coffee right now that is pure coffee with refined beans to keep you awake for 8 hours with no crash? Before I even sell it to you, why the heck would you need coffee that's at that caliber? And you obviously know, Ahmed, that's a little bit more expensive than a lot of coffee that's out there because from Colombia. Why the heck would you need refined coffee?
The thing is, I'm really tired. I have a lot of important meetings today, so I need something that's going to keep me energized. I want to get the best quality because the meetings are important, and I don't mind spending a bit more on nicer coffee. It keeps me more energized for these bigger meetings where I'll earn much more than the difference of the price of the coffee.
What the heck's made you tired, dude?
Just late nights, many late nights, working hard, grinding.
Grinding?
Yeah, late nights, every night.
Jeez.
Work on work, meetings, gym. You know how it is.
And would you say by like sleeping a little bit more, you would be a lot more on and, probably
for
make a lot
sure.
more money or what?
Yeah, but
It's a
unfortunately, I
balance?
don't have the choice because my work starts at this time. I have to be there. That's when my team comes. We come to office. Got to be there. That's the
Okay, we're in a conversation now, right? You already know, like, this is simple.
Yeah.
You asked me to sell it, but I think the whole thing is like every single time you see me do this or a sales trainer do this, I think the whole thing is like sales is always a pullback before it's a push,
Okay.
right? It's always a pullback before it's a push. So majority of people would be like, well, here's what's in the coffee and What did I do? I did a very fine balance of a mix. I didn't just do one. If somebody watched the way I did that, I did both.
You talked a bit about it. And at the same time
I
you were putting it away.
sprinkled in the sugar. Actually, literally, like you asked me to sell the coffee, I sprinkled in the sugar, but then I moved away the cup of coffee. I'm like, here's the sugar. I'm sprinkling it in. Here's the benefits. This is why it's the best coffee in the world, but you can't have it yet.
Yeah.
Tell me why you need this freaking great coffee. Some people go way too on one end and way too on the other end. Like you got to have a fine balance of both. I was sprinkling in the benefits of the coffee while I was
moving it
saying,
away.
hey, but
Let's
forget
talk about
about
you.
this. What the heck do you need the coffee for, right? So it's instead of like the chase everybody wants what they can't have. That's obvious, right? It just allows people to think what's the difference between pressure and urgency.
Yeah.
That was a good example that we just did to allow people to think of their sales pitch pressure versus urgency. What I did, because pressure is a conflict of internal values.
Yeah.
Urgency is self-generated.
Yeah.
What that means is you ask the right question, so they generate a sense of urgency where now they lead in towards a sale. Pressure is saying, well, you need the coffee because it's the best and it's on sale. Now it's like, oh, fuck, now you're pressuring.
Yeah, and like if you don't buy it now, it's gonna be unavailable to you. You won't get it again.
Correct, right? So it's like you want to
Scarcity.
learn how to ask the right questions to generate a sense of urgency. So there's a difference between saying, hey, bro, the reason why you should buy it because it's on sale right now.
Okay.
Okay, that's pressure. The other salesperson says, hey, man, you know what? I know you're a little bit on the fence, but if you don't purchase this today, what do you think is going to happen in the business in the next 5 years? I kind of just want to better understand. Ask a question, generate a sense of urgency,
Yeah,
right?
Nice. It's interesting also what you said. I just realized, when you talked earlier about the type of product that you're selling and having that conviction. There's that video recently, I don't know if you've seen it, of like this famous jeweler in New York called Trax.
Yeah.
And he's handing out the gold chips.
Uh-huh.
And he's handing out this single gold chip, right, to random people. And he goes
gold
around-
bars?
Yes. Have you seen the video?
I've seen a couple of his videos
So
on
basically,
shorts.
I think he's also Italian, right?
Yeah.
So he goes around and he's handing out someone like a gold coin or a silver coin. And the funniest thing is, because he's a random guy like in New York and he's walking up to people, he's handing the gold coin. They're like, yo, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, free gold coin for you.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa. And like they're like, what's this guy saying? And they walk away. And they keep doing it again and again. And people are like, and maybe like 1 out of 10 people are like, okay. And they take the gold coin.
Dude, I remember watching
And they
this
walk
now.
away.
Yeah.
And then the funniest thing is someone made a reaction to it, and he's like, this is the funniest thing about sales, because if you see in Trax's eyes, the moment someone says no, they don't want it, he's laughing. And he even says at one point, he's like, I love it
remember.
when they say no, because I'm providing value here. So the point of this video is, if you're selling something that's so good, you never care about getting rejected,
Yeah.
because you understand the value you're providing.
Yeah.
So if someone rejects it, you're almost happy. You're like, oh, I was about to do so much work for you and about to like do something like I was about to spend a lot of my time trying to help you improve your life, and now I'm saved from doing that time. Obviously, he didn't make the money.
Yeah.
He doesn't do the sale, but the point is that when you're selling something of value, you're not scared of getting rejected.
Yeah, my grandfather used to say, don't get caught in the wrong place with the wrong people at the wrong time. Like, with the wrong place, with the wrong people that don't value your product the right way. He once he took out like an old timepiece, like, how much would you pay for this? And I'm like, I don't know, man, like $5.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, well, if you go to the antique shop, they're going to pay $550. And I said, okay, so that's the analogy. And you know what's cool? When I watched that, I turned to my friends. That video that you're showing me, I've seen a shorts on that, a YouTube
Yeah.
shorts video on that, I think.
Yeah.
And, or maybe it was a longer video. I turned to my friends. I said, this is not just sales, this is life.
Yeah.
Why is this life? Because literally in life, man, you can have the best opportunity in front of your eyes and you are trained to fucking reject opportunity.
Yeah.
Like it could be in front of you. Think of what I just said, bro. This was the equivalent of me being young when 13 and that sign
Signboard,
said
yeah.
$500 to $1,000 and I was the only guy that signed up and my whole school walked by
walked
that
past
sign
it.
and I said, school does not program you to take opportunities, right? And the sad thing is, like, nobody should care about your life more than you care about your own life.
Yeah.
And you have to start realizing in today's day and age, your eyes have to be locked into opportunities. You have to see where you're currently at. Like, even when people are here, man, like, dude, when you're in Dubai and you're a foreigner, don't get caught up in everything in the beginning. This is a land of opportunity. For some individuals, this is a land for people, to make connections, to build, use what's, around you. And the problem is because of people's past programming, people will come into here, learn how to make money, and then get caught up in everything way too quickly when their business is not exponential yet where you can. Because you look and you have this expectation where it's like, well, that person drives a Ferrari in real estate. Yeah, but you don't also know he's been in there for 15 years and had building blocks. You want to get to the point, like I could say, don't get caught up in the circus too early on. Like the circus is like, you make 20,000 and then you go spend it and then you're back to day one. Like, fuck, you got caught up in the circus. Imagine you just shut your mouth, you made 20,000 and you operated like you were still broke. And and you keep doing that until one point your business becomes exponential. Exponential means that you've compounded your momentum cycle so many times where you could have been flaunting your money, but you shut up and you kept working. You compounded the momentum so much that now it's exponential and you can't catch up. It's like a hockey stick and you can't catch up to it, right? So most people don't get to that point in their business.
Yeah.
They don't get to an exponential phase inside of their business.
Yeah, they spend money like making themselves look like they have more than they have, but they could just use that money to actually have more than they
Correct.
have.
Yeah, they can use their money or just shut up, bank it, and keep using their skill set and their energies. Because if anything inside a business, you need to have your energy. But if you keep wasting your winning energy, you're not going to have energy on Mondays or whatever. And the bad thing is salespeople in general, because they have such a good skill set, salespeople in general, because you know you can make the money on a Monday, you'll spend it on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
It's the biggest kryptonite to a salesperson because salespeople know that they're confident, they're good. Like myself, when I was young, I used to spend all my money. Why? Because I know I can make it back next month.
Yeah.
And that cycle is so depressing. You know, it's like, shit, man,
back.
nothing's worse than making 100,000 than losing 100,000. It's okay to be broke and not make money next week. But it's worse when you've made $1 million and you don't have $1 million to show for it.
Stripped away from you.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I think the best thing about sales is today, like if you were dropped randomly in the middle of a desert and you had nothing and you had no other skills, the only skill that'll help you at that point is sales.
Correct.
Because you could literally take like, I don't know, a camel and find a camel, camel seller.
Yes.
If you have sales,
You get what you want inside of life. Like that's what I tell about people. Like, Steve, where were we this week? I don't know. We were flying in from Miami. Yeah. What did I pull off? I said this was one of the best. Come on, man. My videographer, Steve's here without a video camera first time in his whole life, by the way. What we were in Miami going to Dubai. Yeah. Do you remember the situation that just happened with the lineup?
This is the worst thing. We're just something cool and nobody remembers.
Well, it's not that cool. I'm just saying, like, I know your whole life's a blur with me, but
I remember,
how many people were in that lineup?
Oh, it took like 2 hours.
No, more. It's like a 4-hour lineup. We live in airports, right? It was definitely a 4 or 5 hour lineup.
And you convinced someone to sneak in front of them?
What? No, I didn't convince nobody. Because like usually that's going to create animosity in the lineup, right? You don't even want to do that. So I'm just like talking to people. The security guard's right here at this lineup because when they know the lineup's big, they know people are going to try to do this, right? I'm talking to the security guard. I'm like, man, how's everything going right now? I'm talking to him. It's getting busy here. I'm etching in to the lineup, right? And then I go to the guy at the front desk. While the next person's coming in, I go to the guy at the front desk and I just pull out my passport. I say, sir, do we need a visa to get into Dubai? I just kind of forget. I haven't been there in a while. He's like, man, I don't know if you need a visa. I'm like, dude, when's the last time you've been to freaking Dubai? Have you been to Dubai yet? He's like, well, man, I don't know yet. I'm like, dude, you should come fly out with us to Dubai. And I start talking to him. He starts talking back to me. I'm like, oh shit, I still got to check in, bro. I'm like, can you check me in really quickly? And the people are just watching it. And so I'm checking in. Steve's at the back of the lineup.
Oh my God.
I call Steve. I'm like, no, my phone's dead.
Oh no.
Yeah, my phone's dead. I ran to the back of the lineup. I grabbed Steve. Everybody's looking at me. And I said, that was one of the best. And I think, listen, I'm just saying that because you do that your whole life when you're inside of sales. You need to learn how to get what you want, right, inside of sales. And I think, if anything, it does everything good for you. There's nothing bad. If there's an attractive woman, okay, and you think you're the right fit for her, like, dude, you have to go up and build some sort of conviction and talk to that individual. Because like, if you don't do it, the worst part about it, if you're not good at sales and you're in a sales job, it would be so freaking sad. I see so many good, I think everybody in the world is prospectable, recruitable, and closable. Yeah. That's my thought. If you're good at sales, you can get anything you freaking want inside of the world. But imagine being in a job and then you're working in one industry, a competitor's working in another industry, and that competitor sells your next door neighbor or your best friend. Like, what a shame because you didn't have the sales skills to go up to that person and sell that person. Now somebody else has closed that person and they're your freaking next door neighbor. And this happens in life. It's like somebody right now is literally dating the girl that you liked in high school and is married to her, and that was your high school sweetheart. But because you didn't, he's making love to her, he's married to her, and because you couldn't sell her when you were young, and you didn't listen to me when you were young as a friend, somebody else sold her.
Yeah,
that's
what
life.
A shame. What a shame. Yeah, I had a similar thing in the airport one time. I remember this guy. I was in the airport. I think Miami as well. I had an interconnecting flight, so if I was literally back against the wall, I had no other choice. Otherwise, I would not really. I had an interconnecting flight. It was about to take off, and there's a long line in front of me. And I walk around the line. I'm like, hopefully there's one person here that recognizes me. And I walked back and forth a couple of times until this one random kid looked at me. You know when you can kind of tell that somebody recognizes you?
I know, yeah. They give you that look.
They
That
give you that
two-take.
look like I've seen you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at him like smiling. I'm trying to like think about like, does my hair look like how it looks in the videos?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, look at him. And at some point he's like, bro, you're Ahmed, yeah? And he's like, can we take a photo? And he's about to come in. I said, wait, stay there. I'm coming to you. And I walked in the middle of the line, came to him.
Perfect timing.
Takes the photo, because he was going to come out to meet me. I was going to come to you. Takes the photo, puts his phone in his, it's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, no worries. So how's your day, man?
Are you gonna say the story that just happened yesterday? Can I say this or no? I don't know if this is allowed to be public.
Okay.
I don't know if it's allowed to be public. You judge it after, okay?
Okay.
But so there's certain areas in Dubai where you're not allowed to run without your shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So
Public decency and stuff.
yes, but I guess I was just on the beach. I was doing it on the beach, right? And is this a big fine?
No, don't worry. Well, anyways,
Okay.
we'll see. I will not keep it in if it's troubling.
Okay,
It's
so-
bad for me as well.
Okay, so I'm running yesterday,
Yeah.
and every single time I'm running on the beach, people don't know where I am because I don't really show. So everybody's commenting on my stories, bro, you're gonna get a fine, you're gonna get a fine, you're gonna get a fine, you're gonna get a fine. But I always run at the same spot where there's always people, like there's already guys without their shirts off, etc.
Yeah.
But I also know like people are like commenting on my stuff, so it's gonna jack up my story views for the day because I get thousands of messages being like, bro, you're gonna get a fine, stop, da da da. It's just so funny because every time I do it, I'm here. I know the same reply is gonna come back. So as somebody was saying that, police car pulled over. I'm like, all right, today's finally the day I get a fine or go to jail. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to call up one of my homies to bail me out today,
Yeah.
right? And I'm so tired, and it's like I jog in the heat here, bro. At between 1 to 3 p.m. I'm psycho.
that's the worst. That's
yes.
the worst time.
So I'm jogging in the heat. I'm done. I've been jogging already for an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm already past like 8, 9 kilometers, 10 kilometers in. Cop car comes by. I said, all right, I'm getting a fine today. I'm kind of laughing in my head. I'm like, I deserve this, right?
Yeah.
He comes by, and I'm like, sorry, Habibi. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. He goes up to me. He's like, Yalla ta'al, come here, right? He's like, come here. And he's like, I'm like, all right, he's
But
gonna.
good pronunciation, man.
Huh?
Shit.
Yeah, I grew up with Arabs, bro.
Okay.
I grew up with only Arabic people. But in Canada, I was born and raised in Canada, so I grew up with like Lebanese people,
Iraqis.
Jordanian people, Iraqi people, everybody,
Yeah.
Syrian best friends from like Al Ain, everywhere, bro.
Nice.
So comes up to me, and I'm like, he looks at me, he's like, come here. He takes a selfie with me. He's like, shut up and go put on a shirt. And then he leaves.
No
I'm like,
way.
yeah. But I was just funny. I was just
That's
like,
crazy.
wow. Like, because he knew my guest from Instagram. He's like, bro, my
crazy.
friends follow you. Take a quick selfie. He's like, all right, Yalla, put on your shirt and get out of here, right?
Yeah.
And it just went back to the story where I said, like, yeah, you know, like building a brand and sales or whatever the case is,
Helps you
it helps you inside of life,
In
you know?
everything.
So it's just
like a
funny that you
CV.
said this story.
Yeah, and it's a small thing anyways. I'm sure if it was something important, they would have made it. But it's a small thing, you know what I mean?
Correct. Yes, of course.
But anyways, yeah, I think like...
Don't get me a fine, bro, after this podcast.
No,
don't get me put in jail. I love
worry.
Dubai.
Yeah, you're running on the beach, man. Anyway, so I think that especially Instagram, it's literally like your CV in today's day and age. Like that's how they judge you. That's how they see if you're the right person for anything. You can tell your skills. I think if you have that personal brand, like today, if you're good at selling but nobody knows it, then like for me, by the time I've already sat with the guy, they already have a certain idea of me. And they already can kind of tell, okay, like this guy knows his shit because he's spoken about it online. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, but by the time some people are so smart, but it takes you to like set up a meeting with them and sit down with them and pick their brain to finally realize, okay, this person's an expert in this.
Right.
Whereas if you were doing it before, that's why I always tell people, like, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a doctor or you're a chef or whatever your job is, always on the side be like a content creator. You know what I mean?
150%.
You can literally get more clients from it. You can.
I could
everything.
talk about this all day. Listen,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I'm even more amazing at branding and marketing than I am at sales.
Yeah.
I know it does well online.
But they're similar. It's just like
Yeah,
top of the
it
funnel.
is. It is.
It's like top of the funnel.
It
bottom of
is.
the funnel.
It is. And I also think like, hey, you know, there's a lot of great sales trainers that say they're amazing, and I say, okay, but why isn't your brand big? If you're so good at influencing somebody, then
can't
why
sell
can't you
yourself.
influence people on your brand to make it go viral?
True.
Like really, why can't you mass media influence? If you can influence truly, so if you say you're the best, why does your brand suck? Isn't branding influence at the end of the day? So, maybe you know how to influence one person, but you don't know how to influence 10. You don't know how to influence 1,000. You don't know how to influence. Yeah, you don't know how to influence. So, are you really the freaking best? Now, I love that you said this. Branding is so freaking important because it makes sales easy. If your brand sucks, sales is hard. If your brand's good, sales is easy. Just like you and I, like we're having a good conversation. We have brands. We come in here. It's like your report enters the room before you enter the room is what you're basically saying. Your brand enters the room before your work enters the room, right? So I think that's the best thing about building a brand is that your brand gets to speak for you before you speak for yourself. So I love branding and marketing, man. I think that the way I see branding, marketing, and sales is branding is your trust, which is like the foundation of the house. Marketing is your call to action. So this is where people get branding and marketing differentiated. Branding and marketing are two different things. Branding is an invisible line of trust where people see your videos so much that when you do a marketing post, which is a CTA, a call to action, it makes your sales a lot easier. But when you don't understand your posts between branding and marketing, people do them all in one. So sometimes people have to ask themselves, is this a branding post or a marketing post? Well, what's the difference? A branding post indicates that you're just gonna give value. You're just gonna create good content. You're just gonna make them laugh. And it just builds trust. Now when it becomes marketing is, well, if you like the video, DM me the word road below. Okay, now it's a marketing post because now there's a CTA. And Daniel, but what's so bad about that? Well, your branding is always going to do better than your marketing. But why? Because your branding is going to get likes, shares, and saves. When somebody sees that you're selling something, nobody's then going to share it to their audience because now there's a CTA and they don't want to promote your CTA to the call to action to the audience. So the psychology behind it is if it's branding, the best two analytics that anybody in their brand in today's day and age can ever go by, whether it's on Instagram, TikToks, or Shorts, is not just likes and comments, it's shares and saves. This is how you go more viral. This is how you get the Explore feed sharing you and putting you on this Explore feed is the shares. And it's also important because a video, to me, the only important stat on a video in today's day and age is a share and a save. This is how a video goes viral. It's not a like, it's not a comment, and you can't fake it. And of course, if you were to share my video and it's on your story, now I get your 25,000 story views, right? On my reel. So now that we know that's obvious, that's the first thing is you want people to share your content. Any comedian, anybody, any doctor, you want people to share it. If that's the most important stat, share and a save. It's a save. It was probably funny or valuable, right? Or you may want to go to that place for vacation, so it was valuable. If it was shareable, same thing. You want to share it to your friends. So if those are the two most important statistics about branding, how do I get shareable content and how do I get content that's saved? And you ask yourself a question, would I share my own content? That's also a good question to ask yourself. Would I share my own post? That's how you make good content. Because some people just make content and they wouldn't even share their own shit. They're just making it to make it. And then you ask yourself, okay, if it has to be shareable and it has to be savable, if I put a call to action, would somebody share it? Probably not. Because, right?
Yeah, they don't want to.
Unless it's super valuable. 1 in 10 would be like, you still got to go get your eyebrows done at this place. If it's like 2 girls or something like that. So I just think it's like 90% branding, 10% marketing and sales, right?
Yeah, let them approach you.
Yeah,
let them ask you, listen, how can I learn more?
Yeah. Or you do your marketing, your call to action, like when Gary Vaynerchuk always says like jab, 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 right hook. He's like, give value, give value, give value, give value. That's what he was always saying to. And I hope people understand. He's like, you can do your sale, but it should be 90% of your branding, right?
Yeah. What do you think is the difference? Like, do you think marketing itself is, like we talked about now about marketing and branding. What about marketing and sales? It's almost like the same thing. It's just that marketing is more mass level or top line.
Yeah. So you have branding, which is your foundation. Then you have marketing, which is like an ad with a call to action. Yeah. And then the call to action goes to a salesperson,
so it's almost
right?
the same thing.
Yeah. It's just your
scale.
Yeah. It's going branding first step, marketing second step, third step sales. Sometimes you bypass them, right? You bypass branding and marketing, and you just get contacted with a cold call or door knock. But I think it's like, why not, man? That you just said, like, why not brand and market in today's day and age? Like, why not make your job easier? And it's still free. Yeah. Like, if you're not, like, social media attention is still free. Instagram just started charging, I don't know, Steve, what, $350 a month to get your post promoted now.
Really?
Yeah. Now there's a thing in Meta that just got launched this month. I think they just started testing it, but it's going to be official in a couple more weeks, just like the Meta Verified. Yeah. So they just launched, because you know how our stuff doesn't get exposure to our whole audience. Yeah. So now they just launched 3 different tiers. One's like $99, one's like $200, and one's $350 a month. Where now if you pay the business subscription on Meta, then it's going to get exposed to a lot larger audience within your audience. So within the people that follow you. Yeah. So now they're making you pay to play, which still everybody's going to do it if you're smart. Of course you want your posts like, so it's like, that's how you see that there's a need and you should be going in for free heavy.
right now, yeah.
Like,
Because they're gonna keep making it more.
They're gonna
and more
keep more
expensive.
making it more and more expensive.
And this is like reaching your like before it used to exist to reach new audiences, but now you gotta pay to reach your own audience. They
Own
already follow
audience.
you.
See?
You put so much work in to get these guys to
Correct.
follow you.
It's like keep taking advantage of it right now, because then it's eventually going to turn into like you got to pay $100 per post.
per post, yeah.
Literally, it's going to turn into that. It's going to turn
And
like
that-
an advertisement.
Yeah. And at that point, if you don't know how to make a good post because you haven't spent the years now, you're gonna waste thousands of dollars on shitty posts at that point. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Because now you can test and trial.
Do you believe in like promoting your post? Because in my opinion, like if the post is good, organically it would have blown up.
Yeah.
If it didn't grow up, if it didn't blow up organically, then promote is just like shoving it in front of people's faces.
Oh, okay. So I've never promoted a post, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I
Yeah.
just like, well, the thing is like, I just know my audience so well. I put in so much work. Like, you know, and do I think you should be doing both? Yeah, I think if you want to do both, do both. Like if you have a good video and you want to promote it more and it's already doing well, good, sure, promote it. But I just don't think people should be picky in today's day and age. Oh, I'm going to promote it and I'm not going to make a good post. Like just make a good post and then promote it if it's going well. But I think like, you know, content creators can't get lazy. They can't just outsource your agency and be like, now Ahmed's going to blow me up. No,
yeah,
bro,
you
you
gotta-
have to know your audience. You got to do your post to say you did a freaking post. Some
Yeah.
people are just posting to be like, I posted. Yeah, but bro, you didn't really post. You didn't really think what's going to go viral. You didn't really know about your audience. You're just saying the task to say you did it.
Yeah. But let's say when you talk about sales, if you were to kind of sum up the most common excuses or the most common no's and how to get around those specific ones,
Yes.
would you be able to do that?
Yeah. Time, money, and skill.
Okay.
So I don't have time. I don't have the money to do something like this, and I don't think I could do something like this.
Okay.
Time and money are front-facing objections. Skill is a back-facing objection
Can't
where
tell.
they don't really. No, they just won't really tell you that. But some people won't be like, I don't think I'm going to be good for this campaign. They won't really want to say that. They'll just be like, I don't
But
have
the
the
skill
time.
one is only for like courses and stuff, like info products. It would not really apply to like
Correct. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's just we can say still a lack of belief in
Yeah.
implementation.
Okay.
Lack of conviction, a lack of belief in implementation. Somebody could have bought like, hey, another one could be like
they
if
can
I'm-
buy a Ferrari, but they don't believe that they should drive a Ferrari type thing.
Yes, but if I'm selling your agency services, okay, and I'm selling a client right now, and that client went with another agency 6 months ago, and the agency that they went 6 months ago wasn't even bad. The client didn't even implement what the agency was asking for, and now they have a lack of conviction and belief inside of themselves, but they won't even tell you that.
Yeah, true.
They might say this to you. Oh, yeah, we went with another agency
They
and
did
that
bad.
agency sucks.
Yeah.
Or I just don't have the time to do something like this. Just shit doesn't work out. But they might have a hidden skill set or implementation or confidence objection. Sometimes you got to pull that out, right?
Yeah,
That's why I say don't ever bash competition. Like just be like, oh, okay, so you worked with those individuals. Let me ask you a question. What do you think you could have done better to make that relationship work out? Like sometimes when you know somebody is not like in it and you can't see you see their personality is not like, oh, you know, we worked with them, we did everything. Okay, maybe that person, it was on the other competitors. But
Yeah.
when you're like, yeah, that competitor was just garbage.
But
ask
also
them.
when you as a when you as a salesperson, whenever someone sells to me and they talk bad about someone I've worked with before, or they talk bad about another competitor, it always makes me think like this person's not that good at selling. Because like I think like first of all, it just seems like it's so easy just to bash someone else.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to
It's
do.
the easiest thing to do. It's like you don't have your own case to
Yes,
show your
yes.
work, so you can just say like, yeah, there should we do work way better. We're gonna do it X times better. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
such a fake, and it's such a like I think it's like a dirty tactic. You know?
Yes, of
To
course.
start, if you give specific constructive criticism, like okay, like this software has this much amount of like we have a software as well, like a SaaS platform. So let's say this software has this many search filters. Okay, our software has this many search filters. Okay, it makes sense, you know. But just to bash someone, you're giving the client this view of you as like you're this. Like it gives the client a bitter taste in their mouth about who
Yeah.
you are as a person.
Of
because
course.
you're willing just to shit talk someone. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. It's like you're gonna do the same thing.
And
about-
also, it's insulting to me because I picked that agency.
Yes.
So you're telling me that I was an idiot at that time by picking that agency. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's the best way is like when people bring up competition. I think the best way is to say, "Hey, listen, love that you brought up XYZ firm. The only reason why people really partner up with us, Ahmed, is because of X, Y, and Z. Are those things important to you? And you just navigate away to your value. You know what I mean? It's like you still you keep them where they're at, right? Whether you want to say you know a lot about them or not, you continuously sell your value because it's a way sometimes for people to get you off track, and sometimes people are just testing you to talk shit about the competition.
Yeah.
You know that, right? So. Where were we before that? I
So
don't
we
know.
were talking about, let's say, the most three most common reasons.
yeah.
And you said
I was
lack of-
they'll give you a time objection. So I need to think about it. I don't have the time right now. Send me over some information. All those objections go into time. Then the other ones is money. So they'll give you a money one, which is like, I don't have the budgets right now. I get paid next week. I don't know if I can make the money back. So somewhere about the money. And then the other one is the confidence, the skill set, and implementation.
What about like the authority one? Like, for example, like they don't have the authority to make the decision that, for example, like
But it's not an objection.
yeah, that's more like they would refer you to a different person.
Yeah, I think that's your fault as a salesperson. If you're getting the authority thing and then you've already presented somebody, you obviously didn't qualify hard.
Yeah,
so
true.
wait,
Makes
it depends where you're at. Like if you get an authority objection
yeah.
towards the end of a sale, then that's a you problem, right?
But sometimes it's just a cold call and you can't know. It's
Correct,
like,
correct. That's what I mean. Like if it's a cold call, but then when you start presenting and then you didn't get their decision makers up front in the presentation, like is there anybody else than yourself that makes the decision on this product? If you didn't get that, then yes, I think
Because sometimes it's also bullshit. Like for example, like you call a guy and he might say, "Listen, my wife chooses which property we buy, not me," and it's like they make the decision together, but he just wants to.
my thing, bro, is I like to get salespeople better. So I like to level up the mindset of a salesperson. So we look at these objections first, right? And there's strategies to deal with them. But I always like to tell a salesperson, I'm like, okay, those objections, they come up. I don't have the money to do something like this. I need to speak to my husband. I need to do this, blah, blah, blah. I say, okay, imagine you looked at an objection like this. It's a reflection of what you could have done better inside of the sale. So if somebody's giving you a money freaking objection, just look at it. An objection's a mirror. It's a mirror of what you did or what you didn't do inside of the sale.
What you lacked.
Yes, what you lacked. So if somebody's saying, I don't have the money to do something like this, that's a you problem, not a them problem. Because you can't complain and make commissions at the same time. So this is what I would say. I would say, maybe you didn't freaking show them how was a return on investment and they were spending money instead of investing money. So they give you a money objection. If somebody says, I don't have the time to do something like that, that's a you problem, not a them problem. Maybe you didn't show them a way how they actually save time, or you didn't show them a way, or you didn't have a sense of urgency inside of the sale that they should have done it today. And because there was a lack of urgency on your end, there was a lack of urgency on their end, then boom, they gave you a time objection. If somebody says, well, I need to speak to my wife on something like this, or I need to speak to my business partner like something like this, maybe you didn't have maybe you had a lack of authority inside of the sale where they needed a second pair of eyes or opinion on something like this, and boom, that was a your problem, not a them problem. So I always say it's like sales is sometimes a reflection of what you could do better. Like your job is to just get freaking better. That's it. So it's like the worst salespeople in the world, all they do is they go to their managers and their leaders and they say things like, you know, they didn't have money and stuff like this. I'm like, bro, what could you have done better?
Yeah.
Like, what can you have done better? Don't freaking complain. You can't freaking complain and make commissions at the same time. My salespeople are not allowed to complain to me. Because the first thing that I'm going to say was like, if somebody said they didn't have the money, okay, great. They wouldn't freaking say that if they felt like they were investing
Saving
money.
Or they were
Or they
saving
were
money.
investing money.
Yeah.
If they felt like it was investing money, they would go beg to freaking find the money and give you the freaking money. So it wasn't that they didn't have the money.
It's about you.
They were just scared that they don't think they can make the money back. Nobody says I don't have the money if there's a return on investment. Everybody here would say, I don't have the money to buy your watch or my watch. Okay, great, because you know they're expensive. But if we said, hey, by the way, these watches are not now six-figure watches, we're going to sell these watches for $500. Even if people didn't have the 500, they're going to go take the money and they're going to go get the $500 because they know they can go sell it for
Yeah.
10 times more.
Yeah.
People don't buy product, they buy the value of the product. So if you didn't build up the value, then money becomes an objection.
Okay, I get it.
Money only becomes an objection when the value is low,
Yeah.
right?
But I hate that. It's a mindset problem. It's always thinking about them and them. It's not looking intrinsically as what you could have done better. It makes, even if they were not qualified, just spending time thinking about that doesn't help you in any way. You'd rather always think about how you could have improved.
Correct, because that's gonna allow you that just gets you better inside of sales. Like, you know, so if salespeople are watching this, I think it's with any business. I think any smart business person says like, oh, I like this one, man. Like I always tell people, it's like, you know, if somebody comes in, they're like, well, they didn't buy it because they didn't have the money. I said, okay, cool, great. I said, you sure? He says, yeah. He came out of a meeting, one of my sales guys one day. I'm like, dude, I said, maybe they didn't buy from you because you just ate shawarma and your breath smells like freaking garlic. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, did you ask yourself one question? Does the person like you? Well, I think, oh, you see what I mean? This is the first step. Do they like you? And maybe they were so distracted, they didn't like you and they were asking themselves, man, this person should have worn deodorant or they should have brushed their fucking teeth. And they didn't like your hygiene and you think it's an objection. Yeah. So what can you have done better? Dude, hygiene's important inside of sales. Like even something like this, imagine you don't even have this part knocked off.
Yeah.
Just like hygiene within itself.
Yeah.
Like, and you think it's an objection, but what can you have done better? Brush your freaking teeth. I don't know, wear deodorant, smell a little bit better or something like this. I believe that these things are important. It's like, what can you do better? Nobody talks
Do they
about
have
it.
to like you?
Huh?
Does the person
Yes.
themselves have to like you?
Yeah. Unless the person just wants to completely eliminate you and say, get out of here, just send me over the papers.
Yeah.
Right? But in a sale where there's transfer of energy and conviction, of course, I think people have to people have to like you because it's 90% of the sale.
Yeah.
Like it's 90%. I'm not going to listen to you if I don't like you. You can't even get my attention.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't like me on this podcast, then if I was trying to sell them the water, I can't sell them the water because they can't even listen to me. So you
Yeah.
can't even sell
You
to the
can't get through to
individual.
them.
Yeah. So they have to like you in one way, shape, or form or another. And it doesn't mean somebody has to laugh with you. They just have to sometimes be like, oh, I like this person. They know about their product. Because when people say like, does a person have to like you? It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be laughing on the floor.
Or a friend.
Yeah, they just have to, or a friend. They just be like, oh, I like the guy. I respect the guy.
Yeah.
I respect him. I like this
He
individual.
knows what he's talking about.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
It's the main thing is that they should not like you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, talking about that, let's say now they have rejected you, whatever. They've rejected you.
Yeah.
You've made a mistake somewhere along
Yeah.
the pitch. They've rejected you.
Yeah.
How much do you try countering before you just say, you know what? Like, let's say they say, okay, they give you the money rejected.
Yeah.
Now we're
Okay,
now
okay.
we're like, okay, what do we do from here?
I think your fortune is not in the follow up. This is a line inside of sales. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, they say fortune is in the follow up. So follow up. Fortune is in the amount of attempts. You get paid based on your attempts inside of sales. So I think a great salesperson attempts 3 to 4 times on one conversation. The point of an objection is to circle back in to get give me an objection, bro. Give me one. Give me one.
Money,
Just hit me.
Money. I don't have the
I don't have the money to do something like this, right? Step number 1 about an objection is just try to get back inside of the conversation. Don't just pour gasoline on the first objection. So
I understand.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, completely understand. So you can hit me with the money. This is the money objection. Hey, completely understand about.
expensive.
Yeah. You know, I just don't have the money to do something like this. Hey, completely understand. That you don't have the money to do something like this. I'm not going to fuel you. That's fine, man. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, that's cool, man. Don't worry about the money. That's cool.
Okay.
Take my step back. I'm taking my step back. Hey, forget about the money, man. Hey, in the meantime of us raising capital for us to figure out how we can find the money to do something like this, let me ask you a question. Even when you do get paid, right? You said you don't have the money right now and you're getting paid on Friday.
Yeah.
Even when you do get paid, if you're not certain on something like this, you still will spend the money at a club on the weekend and you will not spend it on the coffee.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Ahmed. After everything that we just discussed today, what were you still a little bit confused and hesitant about? That even when you do get paid, you would still be a little bit scared about doing something like this? Was it a little bit more about, the usability? Was it a little bit more about implementing it inside of your business? Was it a little bit more about the ROI that you would be getting? I kind of would just better understand. So in the process of you raising the capital, at least I can send you over some information, right? About what you were still a little bit hesitant, confused about. What was it?
Well, if it was nothing, there was no, it's just completely the price. I 100% understand the value, but just completely the price.
It's completely the price?
Yeah.
No, I 100% understand. So let's keep going. This is the second attempt. So I went in for first attempt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is going to be good now.
Yeah.
Now I'm on second
And I
attempt.
could be lying, but you
no,
don't know.
yeah, I'm good, bro. This is second attempt. This is what I think a great salesperson has 2 to 3 degrees of dealing with the same objection, right?
Yeah.
No, 150%. So it's
Just
just
the
the
money.
price thing.
Yeah.
It's just price.
Sorry,
the price
Daniel.
is too high.
Sorry, Daniel, bro. I can't buy it. It's too expensive.
And dude, is it the price or the cost? Ask me what you actually want to think right now. What are you going to think?
Is
What
it
do you
the
mean?
Price or what do you mean?
Yeah, good. What do you mean? It's
What
the
do you mean
price.
is the price of the cost?
Is it the price of what you're paying or the cost?
The price that I'm paying for it is too expensive. I don't have the budget for this coffee.
Oh, because the price and the cost is a little bit different?
Of course, you like your profit. You keep more profit.
No.
Your cost.
No. So cost, man, I want you to think of this, Ahmed, and I understand that price is a concern. It's a little bit expensive, right? I want you to think about the cost because price is what you pay today. Cost is what you pay 10 years down the road.
Okay.
Okay, so of course our services are going to cost you $1,000. The price is going to be $1,000 today, right? If you don't do something like this and you go save your money and go spend $500 somewhere else and you try to cheap out with somebody or something that doesn't have X, Y, and Z, that is going to get you X, Y, and Z inside the future, and you just spend $500 on a product. And now you're like, you know what? I saved $500 today. I didn't spend the money with Ahmed today. I saved $500. I'm going to go spend my money here. Now you paid $500 for another service. But that other service 5 years down the road,
It costs you.
or a year down the road, you notice they don't know Y, they don't know you do X, they don't know what you do Z. It's just like buying a used car. When you buy a used car, you think you're saving money, but a year down the road, the EMS system goes, the electronic management system goes on the BMW. That's $8,000. Then you could, and the new car was just 50 and the used car was 30. I'm going to do this example. The used car was 30, the new car was 50, right? I'm going to start showing my client this. Hey, You could have just spent $20,000 extra in the beginning for the new one. The electronic management system goes, that's $8,000. The next year, the rotation goes, that's another $5,000. The next year, you realize you needed a new exhaust system. That's another $10,000. You're now $68,000 into the car. You want to sell the car now because you're like, babe, you know what? I'm tired of this car. Now you want to sell it, and you can only sell it for $20,000. Now you lost another $30,000 on the car. You're like $98,000 in cost value when you could have just bought the new price for $60,000 or $50,000 up front. So I'm always going to educate my client. There's always a price and a cost towards doing business. So you have to think, Mr. Client, do you want a cheaper price or do you want a cheaper cost? And I always give them a price and cost matrix, right? And then they start thinking like, hey, if you want a cheaper price, we're not the right people. If you want a cheaper cost, we're the right people. Cost is what you pay in the long run. Price is what you pay today. So there's always a cost to cheaping out, and there's always a cost not to doing business.
Yeah, there's always a different price you pay for not paying this price.
Correct.
Yeah, I get you. That makes sense.
Cost is in the long run. Price is today. That's how I explain it.
Strategy. I also say this thing. I don't know if it's true or like if it's a good strategy, but I always tell them like, look, it can be the service can be any two from the three, and you say, look, it can be either like fast, cheap, or good quality. And then you can say it can be any two. If it's good and it's fast, it won't be cheap. If it's cheap and it's fast, it won't be good.
Yeah, I heard this before.
Yeah. Is that like a good strategy?
Yeah, I mean, if it's fast and it's cheap, it won't be good.
Yes. If it's good and it's cheap, it won't be fast.
Uh-huh.
If it's good and it's fast, it won't be cheap.
Yeah. I mean, I think you want it to be fast. I don't think you want nothing cheap.
Yeah.
You don't want anything cheap. Like, why do you want cheap?
Like, I mean, lower priced.
Why do you want that?
To save money.
But you're not.
Because
That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you're never saving money. And by the way, like, dude, I think, when people sometimes, they have this thing where they're like, and this is the psychology of a consumer. I don't want to give this company so much money. They're making too much profits.
Yeah.
Well, life is karma. Yeah. And it comes around, goes around. It's like, you don't want to pay the salesperson. You want to be cheap with these people. Well, then you're going to get this back inside of your business. When people are saying, well, why don't I have people that want to invest money with me? Well, you were just cheap with the dealership 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like want to pay people full price. Pay people more. Like, act fast if you want people to act fast with you. Like, do things that you want back inside of your business. Don't be cheap. If something's expensive, pay for it, because you got a business and you want people to pay for high quality too as well. Learn how to be the dream prospect that you want inside of your business.
Yeah. Okay, if you were to say your top 3 sales advice, just because we're going to wrap up the sales.
Yes.
Top 3 sales advice.
Number 1, I'm going to say from understanding. Number 1, study people, how people buy. It's my best advice. Before you even understand sales, first step is understand how people buy. Because if you understand how people buy, sales becomes easy. So what does that mean? It's like the psychology of how people consume products.
Yeah.
Like, if you understand that, it's very easy to understand sales.
Yeah.
So number 1, understand how people consume products. Number 2, understand your product. Number 3, understand the positioning. If you can understand these 3 things inside of sales, you will become a beast. Number 1, people. People drive your business, not products. Step number 1, understand people. Talk to people. People drive the business. Number 2, understand your product. Have belief in your product. Develop conviction in the product. Know that your product's the best. Why is the product the best? Then you got to know your positioning. What is your product differentiate inside of the marketplace versus other people? So you can have very valuable conversations. So I always say, it's like, if you want to get really good at sales and you're just new to listening to this, study people, then study product, then study your positioning. 3 Ps.
Study product. Okay.
People, product, positioning.
Yeah. They say that people buy with emotion and they justify with logic. Is that true? Or do they buy with a certain amount of logic? Or do you think it depends on the person?
They're always going to buy with emotion. Everything's an emotion.
More than logic?
Yeah, everything's an emotion. You could say whatever you want to say. Like, you can try to defend the watch the way you're buying it with your emotion. You're always buying the dream.
Okay.
You're buying the dream. Like, anybody that wants to say, you're buying the dream. You're always buying the dream. Like, people don't know this, but you have this dream in your head. Whether the salesperson can bring it up or not, you're always buying a feeling inside of your head. You're defending it also with your feeling. You will always buy a feeling, bro. You go buy a house on the villa.
Never just like purely logic.
You're buying the dream. You're buying the dream. When you buy a house on the villa, you don't even know, but there's a dream inside of you where you're like, well, there's sand, I can run on the beach. There's privacy, I don't got it. That's my dream. I just want privacy.
The logic reasons are just emotional.
Yeah, it's still emotional. Hey, I'm gonna buy this house because there's an imperial staircase. I'm gonna have a Gatsby parties, and the Gatsby parties, people are gonna be like, well, it's so cool. It's still emotional. It's still a dream. You're great. Like, that's why I say sales is just the dream. You gotta sell the dream. People say this is a bad thing. I don't know if you ever heard this, Like he's just selling the dream. Have you ever heard about this?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, yeah. The answer is when somebody's like, oh, that guy on Instagram, he's just selling the dream to people. Whoa, why is this a bad thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why? And by the way, imagine this is very like, you take this out of context and it's somebody says, you're selling people to dream. Let's just say they're thinking it that way. You're selling people just to live a dream. Fuck yes.
Dream, yeah.
Sorry to swear, bro, on this podcast.
No, it doesn't matter.
But it's like, yes, why not? Like if I'm the guy that goes on Instagram and tells people dream and you could make $1 million inside of sales, and then somebody comes in and criticizes me, it's like, what a shame that you come in and criticize me, that I'm training people how to keep fucking dreaming when the system trains you on buying a nightmare and like suffocating you and limiting you and not allowing you to dream anymore. And by the 18, you're dead. I said, in life, you have to sell people the dream. You have to, because people stop dreaming. It's not bad. Like you have to, we have this saying in America, drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
Kool-Aid is like juice.
Yeah.
Like,
I know that is.
he's
But
just
what's
drinking the
the meaning?
juice. Drinking the juice, meaning you're brainwashed. You're drinking the juice.
Okay.
Yeah, that company's just selling the juice. Daniel's just making them drink the juice. Like drink the juice, hyping them up, drink the juice. And it's like, because that's like a negative thing.
Okay.
Oh, he's just, making them drink the juice. My question is like, you're gonna drink juice. Like you're gonna be fucking brainwashed.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, oh, that guy Tate's just brainwashing them. Whoa, what? This doesn't even make sense. Daniel G's just brainwashing them. Yes, brainwashing them to fucking dream more, make more sales, be a better version of themselves. I said, if I don't brainwash people, if a company doesn't brainwash somebody for the positive, if for a fucking negative.
Yeah.
So I say you just gotta pick who you want to be brainwashed by. I say some people need Daniel G's fucking sales training brainwash. Some people need like the company to brainwash them. You need to be brainwashed by your sales leaders or by your company. You need a good fucking brainwashing because the system threw dirt on your brain. So now you need you're gonna be brainwashed in life. Just pick the brainwashing that you want.
Yeah.
The brainwashing usually in the beginning.
It's like manipulation.
Yes,
It's sales manipulation.
whatever you want to call it. The brainwashing in the beginning that you've been sold in the beginning was literally to shut you up.
Yeah.
Not be confident, not talk to people, not talk about money. This is bad brainwashing. At least when you're brainwashed with me, like when people are brainwashed with me, bro, they make more money.
Their life's improved.
Their life's improved. When you're brainwashed inside of fucking sales, you make more money, you drive better cars, you have a better lifestyle. Yes, you should want to be brainwashed, bro. Like actually, I think people should be like, somebody brainwash me. No. Like people should be like, yes, brainwash me. There's been so much fucking bad washing on my brain. I need a good scrub.
Yeah.
Like I give people the sales brainwash, man. Like fucking, I wash their hair. Yes,
professional
yes. I said, come
brainwasher.
here. Let me wash your brain with good shampoo. It's better here, bro. Like. And that's the thing, of course, we got to be extra on social media. You got to take it a step up.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this. It's
Very
like
hyperbolic.
You exactly, man. You got to over embellish it to at least get the point across.
Yeah.
And then on the back end, service them in sales. Like, if you see a clip of mine, you might be like, oh, he's a jackass. But then it's like, it's okay. At least you came in and now you could say, oh, now we could talk about sales. Let's talk about sales,
Yeah. So in my initial question, we kind of diverted from it.
Yes.
But I meant okay, let's say they said no, and you've tried attempts. You've tried 3-4 attempts. And your 4 attempts down, he keeps just saying no. He's just shutting you up. Maybe he's tired.
Yeah.
God knows what. But he just keeps saying no.
Sure.
What? How do you end it by with a no? How do you handle the no? Should you say no, call me back in a week, or no? Do you have any other friends that might be interested in it? How's
I love this question. So you know what? You tried once, they say no. You tried 2 times, they say no. Now you got this thing which is called a faculty that you have. It's called your intuition.
Yeah.
As a smart salesperson, you attempt it 1, 2, 3 times.
Yeah.
You're use your faculty. It's an intuition that God has given you, a faculty that is called your intuition, that it's not on a piece of paper, but you got to listen to it.
Yeah.
And you got to say to yourself, I don't think this conversation is about to close. Let me stop losing my energy. Let me know that I'm going to be good regardless if they buy or not. Now, let me pull back. Let me just pull back for my own sake and for my own energy, and maybe to do a little bit of a strategy on this person, but it's time to pull back. They said no. They said no once. They said no twice. And I'm just, it's going to be a little bit of a strategy, but it's also going to save me emotionally and my energy. So I don't feel like shit going into my next sale. Hey, Bob, you know what? You told me you don't have the money a couple times and you don't feel like this is the right fit. I've been thinking about it in the last 5 minutes of our conversation. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think right now, at this point, inside of your career with what you got going on, I don't want you to come in here and not come in with 100% conviction that our product doesn't work right. And you also don't prioritize the systems that we're going to put in place with you. So right now, inside of your time and your timeline inside of your life, I think you're right. I don't think we're the best fit for you right now inside of the future. I do feel if there's something that comes up on my plate where I feel that it's going to be aligned with what you got going on inside, if you don't mind, I will keep you up to date with the progress of any things that happen inside of the future. But right now, I think you're a little bit right. Maybe you're right. And let's end the conversation, okay? And if anything's changed inside of the future where you feel like you can align with us, let's keep in touch. Does that sound a little bit fair?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a little bit of pullback. That's like the last hair on the chinny chin chin that I'm using. That's like the last freaking strategy when I know there's a lot, 2, 3 no's, and there's only 2 things that can happen. Number 1, you saved your energy.
Yeah.
So he's gonna say, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But number 2, in that conversation, he might say, well, yeah, you know, he might just come back in.
Yeah.
Or he might just go to bed at nighttime.
But he'll think this guy's an honest guy.
He might go to bed at nighttime and say, exactly. Number 1, why the heck is he telling me I can't do something like this?
Yeah, who does he think I can do?
Yeah. And number 2, he's going to say, well, you know what? This guy is an honest guy,
He wants
you know?
the best thing for me.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Like we were just in a store 2 minutes ago, man. I was in a meeting and then I had to change my shirt because I was sweating. So I just literally bought this shirt right now. And the salesman was good that was selling me the shirt. I was going to one shirt and I'm like, so what do you think about this one? He's like, he looks at me and he said, honestly, man, the quality, it's not good. And he's like, it's priced more. And I'm like, you're good. No, hey, I said, you're good, bro. And then he shows me this. He's like, this is cheaper and the quality's better.
You trust him straight away.
I just bought it right away.
Yeah.
I bought it right away because it's like this one he was a little bit hesitant on, but if I can move him away from this,
Yeah.
I said it's smart, man. So that attempt,
If
what
he
I
had
did,
tried to sell you on the first one, he would have got no sale from you.
right? He would have got no sale.
Potentially.
And then the brain, the psychology of that was, if he leans towards this one, I'm gonna sell him it now.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let him go buy the green shirt.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then,
But if Daniel was leaning towards this other shirt, then he would have sold me it.
Yeah.
If he's smart, right? So he's obviously been in sales for a while. But yeah, so the last attempt was just save your energy, man. I have this good video on Instagram. I put it out 3 days ago and just say like, you know, I think confidence comes from you knowing that you're going to be good regardless of what happens inside of life. And my favorite word inside of business lately has been regardless. Meaning like, don't worry, if somebody doesn't buy from you, you'll be good regardless. If somebody breaks up with you, you'll be good regardless. And I think when you have that mentality that no matter what happens inside of life, you're gonna be good regardless, people wanna work with you a lot more. Like that's the mentality, like think of it, everything inside of your life has always stemmed down to you've attracted the right people and the right clients in your life because you know you're gonna be good regardless and people could feel it and then they wanna work with you. You lose all your power inside of life when it's attached towards one person or one thing. You're at the weakest point. It's like when you go through a heartbreak, you're at the weakest point of an individual because all your emotions is attached towards that one person and you don't feel like you're gonna be good regardless anymore.
Yeah.
You're the most powerful individual in the world when you are, you know, you're
Unfazed.
yeah, you're connected to everybody and you're attached to nobody. Like this is when you're the most powerful, I think, inside of life. You're freaking connected to every single person inside of life, but you're attached to nobody. No matter what they say, you're connected to people. You're deep inside of your relationships. You're connected to your
Vulnerable?
business, but you're not attached towards them saying yes or no. You're not attached towards them leaving you, and then your whole life is done without that individual. You're not attached to every single client's outcome. You're connected to everything inside of life, but you're attached to
Are you
nobody.
vulnerable?
What do you mean?
Like, are you leaving yourself to a point where, like, when you don't try to be vulnerable, you try to close yourself off a little bit. And when you are vulnerable, then you do leave yourself a bit open to getting.
It stems down to you just knowing that you're a human being and that nobody.
It will hurt a little bit.
It will hurt, but at the end of the day, you go back to logic and the things that hurt you in life in the past,
They're the best.
they're the best. And there was always a mountain when there was a valley with a river. There was always a mountain around the corner. There was always a better woman when you broke up with her. There was always a better guy when girls break up with their boyfriends. There was always somebody better around the corner. And the moment you could tap into that quickly when something's bad's happening, you should say, man, when I lost my job, there was a better job. When I lost that woman, there was a better woman.
Employee.
And the quicker that you can get to that mentality, you'll get out of your low a lot quicker, right? So to me, yeah, I mean, are you vulnerable? I don't know if it's vulnerable. I would just say, you know, don't stay attached towards things. Like just own your inner powers. Like, you know, man, when I really look at confidence these days, you know, confidence doesn't come from like a watch. It doesn't come from a car because you will see the richest people physically with the least confidence and they can't even look at you. And you're like, but this person has a Bugatti or something like this, whatever, like a beautiful watch, amazing jewelry, amazing dresses, this woman, but there's no confidence. And to me,
he deserves it.
Yeah, like confidence comes from knowing that you can't fucking lose. And why? I believe this deep down inside. I believe my confidence comes from this. Doesn't matter what the heck I have inside of life, my confidence comes down from saying, you will never strip away the deeper faculties from my life.
Yeah.
And because you can never in your life take away the faculties of my touch, you can't take that away. I can still touch. I can still smell. I still have an intuition. I can still think. I still have awareness. I still have consciousness. All these things builds a confidence in an individual because you're like, doesn't matter what you fucking strip away. You can leave me broke on the street. But because I have all these things internally that you can never strip away, I have confidence for a lifetime. That's where confidence is built from. I say, when you're lacking confidence, Melissa, when you're lacking confidence, Jake, and you don't think you're going to be good at this job, just know, bro, you have everything inside of you that nobody can ever strip away from you. And that's where confidence comes in from. Confidence does not come from you making a lot of money. It comes from you knowing that you are still have those things inside of you that makes a lot of money that nobody can ever strip away from you. That is sometimes the most powerful thing inside of the world. Like an imagination. A car is not powerful. An imagination is powerful. That's what God has given you. He's given you sense, touch, thoughts, all these things that are deeper in my head. These things that are
priceless.
Yes, these things that are deeper. And it's like, you're trying to put other things in life on a pedestal when you already have it all. Like, it's so beautiful.
You're at the top of the pedestal. You have the top of the pedestal.
Yeah, you're already one. You know, there's this saying where people are like, you got to find your why. Okay. And I say, really? I don't think that, man. I think it's a little bit deeper than just finding your why. There's this book that says find your why inside of life. And you got to know the purpose of why you do things. And then my thought process goes to this. It's almost like you're ungrateful for your life. Why? Because your life is your why.
Because you're born. Because you have the life.
You have life. It's this beautiful thing called life right now, okay? Right? And like right now, you are grateful for this life that you are given. So when you say, I need to go find my why, what you've really indicated is that you're not grateful for the life that God has given you. Like just life, it's so simple, just life. This beautiful finite, not short, finite, this finite thing called life. What you're saying is, I'm not grateful for life, so I need to go find something else that is gonna fire me up rather than just life within itself. I say that is so dumb. I said, you will never inside of your life trade any of those things that you're trying to attain for life within itself.
That's the main gift.
So why can't life within itself be the most powerful freaking motivator than anything else? Like when you indicate that you need a fucking why inside of life, what you're indicating is that you're not grateful for life within itself and you wouldn't trade it for anything else. Life is the most important. When
life
people are like,
cake.
life is the cake.
Everything else is
well, Daniel G, how do you get so freaking excited? Dude, I fucking woke up. I woke up, I get this thing called life. And people just, people are babied around the world. If you traveled around the world, like if you really traveled around the world, you will start to be more grateful and start to be more energetic, especially if you live in America. And people are like, well, how do you have so much energy? I said, you guys don't get it, man. Go travel around the world. You will see.
India,
go to India. Just go to Africa. Go to places in the Middle East. Go to third world countries. And you will not need a book to motivate you anymore. Like your whole perspective will change inside of life. People will die to be in the position that you're in right now. And this is just the reality of it. Like people are just fucking soft. They're closed off. They don't want to look at reality inside of life. They need a book to motivate them inside of life. I don't need this. I think it's so beautiful. I think life is just such a beautiful thing. And I'm grateful. That's why when people say, why do you work your business so hard? I'm like, well, just the gratitude to be where I'm at makes me push a little bit more. Like if you're grateful for what you got inside of life, show it by expressing it with your work ethic, your actions. This is how you express gratitude. You express it by working harder, by putting more inside of it. When I'm grateful, I work a little bit more,
Yeah.
So, I think this is energy. This is where people always talk about my energy. I say, I'm grateful to be where I'm at. I never knew I can achieve what I have achieved. So my biggest insult would be to take my foot off the pedal. It's like almost like not an insult to people. It's like
yourself.
Yeah, it's an insult to myself. Or like if people believe in God, I think it's like an insult to that. Like like God is giving you this gift to say, hey, go serve more.
Yeah.
And then I say like, man, what an insult it would be. He's given me these talents and he showed me that it worked. And people forget the sign. You know, like people forget the sign. It's like, dude, he showed you. Some people's sign has been a year and he's giving you a year to figure it out.
Yeah.
Some people's sign has just maybe one day and he's like, hey, look, it's working.
Yeah.
Double down, triple down, quadruple down. Don't miss the signs that I'm giving you because eventually I can't keep giving you some signs inside of life, right? So me, I always look at the positive signs that I'm given inside of life.
Where you can add the value to society, to life, where you can bring your...
No, the signs, a little bit deeper. The signs that that I've been given that something is working.
Okay.
And not passing by this sign, like not taking it for granted. Like, hey, man, it works. Maybe you should repeat it again. You know, like, hey, I don't know, like any good sign, you know, any good sign in my life. I feel like the world is, you're just like a big student in this big school. This is what the world is. And if you could take life like this, it's beautiful. Like everybody is like a sign. It can educate you, you know? You walk around with this student, you know, educating yourself. That's a sign that you should treat people kind. This is a sign that you shouldn't treat people bad.
It's a lesson.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
Interesting. That was really good. I would like to ask you, for you in your life, what was like your first story of making your first $1 million? Because I usually ask that to all the guests.
Yeah, it was in my work.
Okay.
It was in my work. I made that 18 to 25 years old, and was there a feeling towards it?
Was it like a single moment, or was it like a...
No.
It added up?
No, added up. It was never a single moment. I don't know if it was that much of a feeling, man. I think like I've gotten to the point where I think because I made money, not money, but I made a lot of money, $800 on the first weekend I was explaining to you, always since I was young. So I almost became desensitized to money. That's not the factor that motivates me anymore. Like I'm gonna make a lot of money always because I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
I'm great at what I do. So already by the time I made my first million, it wasn't like, oh, I made my first million. I didn't even know, and I was so focused just on winning.
Yeah.
You know? So like the feeling was just like, maybe money is a report card inside a business.
Yeah.
To make sure, like, yeah, it's showing you that you're doing something right.
Kind of like a score.
Yeah, it's just your scorecard. So I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm on the right track. My friends are making $50,000 a year. I'm making $250,000 a year, or $500,000 a year, or something.
Something right is happening.
Correct.
I'm
right.
adding value to society.
Correct. And eventually you will get paid. Sometimes you're adding value and you're not getting paid, but eventually you'll get paid. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's a lesson you wish you learned sooner in your life?
A lesson that I wish I learned sooner: keep dreaming, man. Never stop it, because the low energy points inside of my life, I'm 30 now, the low energy points inside of my life have been the points where I stopped having a vision and stopped dreaming because nobody tells us to keep dreaming, you know? Like sometimes you're living your dream, you get attention, you're living your dream, and you don't allow yourself to redream again. So I wish somebody has taught me the lesson of like continuously redream.
But redream means redesire?
Yeah, like go on a beach, man, and just daydream. Like, you know, like, bro, people don't do this anymore. Business becomes so logical, so goal-oriented. But, like, think of it, man. Like, get back to the emotions of dreaming. When you go to bed at nighttime, get back to the emotions. Like, what's going to fire you up again? What was your dreams? Like, go back to bed. Like, give yourself permission to daydream. Even though if you're a multimillionaire and you lose your energy, nobody tells you to dream anymore. The only thing that drove your business in the beginning was an emotional component. It was not logic, bro. The only thing that drove a business was hunger and desire and dreams.
Yeah.
And then some way, somehow, business becomes so logical, and then you lose your hunger, desire, and dreams.
That's true. It becomes about hiring.
Yeah. It's like the only thing that got you to this point was your emotions.
True.
Don't leave that out of your business plan, huh?
That's true.
Like, if you have a business plan, keep your emotions inside of your business plan. The lowest energetic years that I've had is because my vision and my dream was low. It wasn't even money, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's always because your vision and your dream was low. If your vision and dream is high, you can work for 7 weeks without sleep.
Yeah.
Sleeping 4 or 5 hours a day because your dream is so high. It's not even the money. You're like, okay, let's go, right? So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But I feel like there's a point to be made if someone was to argue that, like, sometimes when you redream, you redesire, and sometimes when you desire something, it shows a lack in something that you already have. And they say, like, what's important is not to have the most, but to need the least or to desire the least. And this is like the more Asian approach to happiness, because I feel like, you know, the Western approach is like have a lot of desires and then try to fulfill them. And the Asian is like, try to have less desires or reach the point where you don't have any desires, like these monks or whatever. Supposedly, you know what I mean?
My approach is just like figure out how much human potential you have. And I think that's what drives me. That's my whole life. Like, if you were to say, like, what's your favorite word? I would say potential. Like, what keeps you going? Potential. It's just weird. Like, I have this weird, I think every successful person in business, their word is potential, man.
Yeah.
Like you go ask somebody, like, you go ask somebody truly we were naming some names before the podcast, and you ask people that have done such big things and they continue to do big things, and you fucking ask them like, dude, why?
What's driving you?
Like, what's driving you? And they say, just potential.
True.
I want to see how much I can freaking do. At this point, it's just I want to see how much I can push.
How far you can crank.
Yeah,
something.
how far you can crank, and then you get punched in the face, you go back down. Most people don't do that. They never get punched in the face. We've all gotten punched in the
don't reach
face.
that
Yeah,
maximum.
like, so to me, it's just like potential. I want to figure out, can I do more? Can I do more? Can I do more? And life will kick you down, man. Like, it will. Like, you know, there's points. I
course.
work
You get
a
humbled.
lot. I get a lot. I work a lot. And my number one line is, you're going to burn out and die. And I say, I'm going to push until I feel that. And one day I was in Dubai like 2 months ago, and I was traveling for, I remember it was about 9 days nonstop with like 3 to 4 hours a night. And this is dangerous.
Wow.
I've been touring for 4 years, but I've been it was like a 9 to 10 day sprint where it was like 9 events in 9 days. It was nuts in different continents of the world. I don't know how we pulled it off. And Dubai, I remember I was in like Atlanta. One day I was doing an event in Atlanta. The next day I had an event with Faraz at FAM. This was the next day. I was doing an event in Atlanta. The next day I'm doing an event in Dubai. Okay, so I landed, I do the event. The next day, I go to Chicago to do an event. This is insane.
Going back to US.
This is insane. An event.
13
And by
hours.
the way, you have to be so conscious. Yeah, some of them was 15.
Jet lag.
Yeah, jet lag. And you have to be conscious while you're training.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, yo, man, I'm just going to hold this light.
It's energy.
People are looking at you. Daniel G is gonna bring us the energy, and I know this is my standard. And then, bro, I'm in Dubai, and I'm going to the airport to Chicago.
How
And
many
I've already
coffees,
did
man?
6. I stopped drinking a lot of coffee, like maybe 1 or 2 a day.
No way.
I don't want to
That's
stay upon it because
Yeah.
it'll kill you,
Dependent.
right? Yeah, I don't want to be dependent on it. And
Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
no, it's just like I was in Dubai. I'm going to a next event in Chicago, and I'm doing these trainings while I'm in the back of the car doing these Zoom call trainings. And dude, I haven't slept for 8 days. 8 days, like 3-4 hours a night, 2 hours on the plane. I did 10 events before that. And bro, this is where I say I want to push my potential. I knew what my potential was that week or month. I started to have a mini heart attack in the back of the
no,
car. It was
really?
insane. Like I felt my heart just going boom, 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 boom. I just started getting drowsy. Zoned out. I told the driver, I said, stop. I went and I just had to like breathe on the grass. The first time I ever had to stop and say, if I keep pushing right now, I'm going to die. I was on a Zoom call. I said, guys, I have to go. I muted the Zoom call. I was so dead. I was so tired. My heart was palpitating. I zoomed the Zoom call. I shut it down. This was on the way to the airport. He drove over. I will never forget. We're on like Sheikh Zayed Road. We drove over on the side of the road. I like laid on the side of the road for like 10 minutes. I'm like,
Stop.
this is the punch in the face. Calm down. After this event, you're going to say no for like a week to people. You're going to say no to people right now, okay? Because you were just pouring and pouring and pouring. So like, I love that stuff. I don't know why. I love it. When people ask me, dude, why do you jog at 3 p.m. in Dubai in the middle of the day? I don't know why, but I want it to punch me in the face.
It's a challenge.
It's like my mindset. Like, you know, I don't even jog to like be fit. I'm jogging for my mind to stay fit, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, this was fun, bro.
Yeah, man. It was
is
very
fun.
deep.
Yeah.
You handled it very well. And some of the things you said, like, because I expected it just to be about sales, but some of the more deeper things you talk about life and about gratitude and stuff, very interesting.
Yeah,
So I
it's fun.
appreciate those. The last question, and then we'll
Yes.
wrap it up. What's like a day in your life now?
Yeah, a day in the life for
'Cause I
me.
feel like it's very interesting.
Yeah, a day in the life for me, it's aside from doing this, like, okay, it's shows, podcasts, events. It's a lot of stuff too, because I do so many events. People have to understand, when you see an event, there's like 30 working components that involve me before the event.
true.
Like, you know, doing contracts and negotiating
involved in
things. Yeah. Because I am, I stay within that point of my business,
So
right?
you do
I'm
the
very
whole management
particular.
of the lights and like the,
No, because they're not my events. So if you had an event,
and you called you as speaker. Okay.
I'm just the speaker.
Okay.
At out of the 80 events that I do, 75 events are not mine.
Okay, I understand.
But I'm involved heavily because you are the speaker, right? So you're involved in everything in between that, contracts, negotiations. Off script of that, I run an agency, which is my sales agency too as well. Plus on top of that, it's all my consulting. Big chunk of my business is training other companies, teams, CEOs, and leaders. So that's like 50% of my day that people don't see. It's like the consulting. The other 50% is traveling. It's still a lot of sales work. I'm still closing consulting deals 24/7 myself. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of
How
just
many hours do you sleep
everything.
a night?
Right now it's low 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Like I would consider that low. I would
Yeah,
consider
of
it
course.
good 6 to 8.
Yeah.
You know, low is 4 to 6. And it's just been like that over the last 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, over the last 4 to 6 months, just been busy. Right
I have a
now,
question. Do you think you're doing too much though?
too much.
Yeah, like you're doing too much in your life.
No.
As in, like, I feel like, no, I mean, like, you're spread too thin. Like, you know, 80-20 rule,
Yeah.
Pareto principle, that sort of thing. Because I think about the same thing sometimes myself. Because I have the agency, I have the personal brand, I have the course, which I barely promote.
Yeah.
I have the software company, which I launched, the SaaS. And sometimes I think, like,
It's like what you want inside of life. You know, I had this, you just asked me this. I'm going to talk to you. This is real conversation.
Yeah.
You know, a month ago, I'm sitting down with my homies in the car. We're just, I don't know, we're going to like go smoke shisha somewhere. I'm exhausted. And I was telling them at the front seat, you know, listen, don't be hard on yourself, because if you go ask, I told my friends, man, I'm tired. But then I said, guys, you know what? I said, I want to conquer the world. And in order to say that, that's a big word. I said, you can't be hard on yourself. When you spread yourself out thin, you got to know that you set about a big goal. I said, I'm not going to say I want to conquer the world and have balance at the same time. That's my theory. It's like, do I think I spread myself out thin? Yeah, but compared to what? You don't understand?
I get you,
Like
yeah.
compared to what? My goal is to conquer the freaking world.
no, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the point. I mean, like, like for me, of course, I mean, that's my goal as well. But it's just about, would you be better off focusing, saying no to a bunch of stuff, the 80%, which keeps you busy.
Kind
and
of, but
such
I love where I'm at. So
Yeah,
if I said, oh, I'm doing it wrong, then it indicates that I'm not grateful for where I'm at, or I don't love where I'm at. And I love what I'm freaking doing right now, bro, with you. I love being here. If I said no to Dubai, I would have never freaking met you, bro.
Sure.
You know? So anyways, all right. We're
Thank
good?
you so much for coming
Of course,
on
of course.
the podcast, guys. Check it out. Check out Daniel G. All his socials will be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far to the video, leave a comment, something. We're gonna read through them. We're gonna reply to you guys. Take care.